Like, I actually felt like hopeless because my whole life, the way this, like, I guess that's the bittersweet thing about education being almost a way out. My whole life, like, that is how I'd been given my gratification. You're good at school, you're great, whatever. It's like, now I've graduated from Oxford. This can't be my peak. This can't be the best thing I ever do. Like, what now?
Everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're well yourselves. Welcome to another episode of Student Guide. We are moving forward with season 8, which is wild to think, but we are moving fast. We're interviewing amazing people, discussing amazing topics, and bringing you amazing conversations. We have another amazing guest with us today, and you know I absolutely hate introductions. So instead, I'm going to hand over to our amazing guest today. Tumi, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Could we please know a bit more about you and what you do?
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Tumi. My pronouns are she, they. Tumi Ogundamisi. And I really struggle to answer this question because I do a lot of random things. They're not random, but they're very much like, whoa. I would say probably a good way to start is I'm a founder of a creative collective called Sounds of The Diaspora. So we do a lot of work around identity, community, collective healing, exploring kind of social and political issues using art, using events, pop-ups. We are a podcast, that's where we started. So that's kind of my baby. I also work with Thinking Black, which is an incredible social enterprise who supports, equips, empowers young Black people around the UK. So I'm a non-executive director, but I basically run around and do everything that is wanted and needed because I love Thinking Black. What else do I do? I'm a DJ. I've got a set later tonight, actually. So that's kind of more for fun, but I DJ and sometimes I do some music journalism. And I'm kind of in the field of education. So I've just wrapped up my master's at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, studying education and human development. So yeah, I am very much a multi-hyphenate, like freelance. I like anything I get my hands on, but I love music. I'm passionate about education and community, and yeah, I do whatever I can get my hands on, really.
Yeah. That's incredible. And I think to touch on a few things. Firstly, as you mentioned, Thinking Black. For anyone who's been a huge supporter of us for a while, you may recognise the name Thinking Black because Hope was on our Black History Month panel last year. So if you haven't watched that, check that out. It'll be linked on one of these amazing corners of YouTube. But yeah, check that out because we will be doing another Black History panel this year. I'm going to be honest, this episode might come out after that's happened. So if you've missed it, you can check out this year's one too. And you can also keep an eye out for next year's one as well. But also, I love how you just dropped, oh yeah, I'm just a graduate from Harvard as well.
Yeah, no side quest.
Because that's incredible. You know, and also, I guess, like, on a complete tangent, obviously America's in an interesting place at the moment, but yeah, that's an incredible achievement that you've done, and I think one final thing is I love how in typical like Nigerian fashion you put the full name, full pronunciation, full name, because
Tumi Mary Ogundamisi. Some people know me as Tumi and other people know me as Mary, so that's kind of fun, but Tumi, I'm going to go by Tumi now. And yeah, man, you got to know the lineage. Shout out to the Ogundamisi lineage. You know, that's where came from. So yeah,
100%. We're going to start things off with our 44 questions.
Yeah.
Brought to you by our amazing supporter of the podcast, Amanda from 44 Words. And we have, and I've got it up here, we have a whole list of incredible questions that Amanda has asked. And I think, How many questions? I've got some that we've asked before, and I think it'd be interesting to hear your
hit me with anything, man. You know me, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. I have two. First one is, what's something that you don't know about yourself?
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I wasn't expecting it. What's something you don't know about yourself? Oh. Okay. I need to think about that.
That's fine.
What is something you don't know about yourself? Oh, okay, I've got a light, funny one answer, and I've got like a serious-ish answer. My light, funny answer, it's actually not that light. It gets kind of dark. But like, Okay, I don't know what time I was born.
Okay.
And I don't know my blood type. And those are just really random. Like, I've been searching, right? So my you know red books, like we have the medical red books. So like, that's supposed to have all your medical records. Like, I went searching for it, trying to find it. Why is there a page ripped out? Like, it's giving I was swapped at birth. If it wasn't for the fact that me and my siblings all have the exact same face, I actually feel like there's a plot going on because but I actually also lived 10 minutes away from the hospital I was born in. So I think I just need to walk in and be like, when was I born? But yeah, random fun fact. I don't know when I was born. My mum didn't know when I asked her. Nobody seems to know. And I'm like, why is everyone hiding this information? I need to know my star sign. Like, I need to know my rising. So that's just a random thing I actually don't know about myself that I'm trying to find out, which is kind of funny. And then maybe on a more serious note, I think one thing that I don't know or is changing that I'm always trying to figure out is like, maybe, honestly, what I want out of life. Like, I do have some ideas of like, maybe kind of general standard bait, like I want security. But like we said in the beginning, because I'm interested and want to do so many different things, like I can see so many realities, like everything everywhere all at once of like, what would a happy, successful life look like for me? And I think I'm getting closer, but I still don't feel like, okay, you know, for some people it's like, okay, like my dream job or my dream world would be like being a producer or whatever. Like, I have so many dream scenarios. And I think I'm gonna live a life where I do end up doing like many things at once. But like, I don't know, I don't know if I should be locked into one thing, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I think I've come, like the last year, actually being in America, helped me realize and figure out a lot, to be honest, like more than I ever had. And I think that was because I went alone. Like I went, and I think this is a bit of a tangent, but I think it's important. A lot of people when I came back asked me like, I was just like, oh, how was it? What do you think? What's your big takeaways? And one consistent thing I kept saying to everyone, I think anybody who's gone abroad and moved away will relate or might relate, is there's such a big reason I left aside from everything else was I just needed to do some personal development and figure some stuff out. There's a lot of trauma going on. And going to a new country where nobody knows you on your own is a beautiful chance to discover who you are and what you want, because you show up, there's nobody to tell you to like check you. Like I show up, I tell them who I am, I do whatever. Nobody could tell me otherwise. You don't know me, you don't know my family, you don't know, like, you know what I give you. If realistically, I could have come and made a whole new identity and just like start like completely lied or like made up who I was. But when you get to show up without any like expectations and it's just you, that is so revealing of actually who you are and who you want to be when you have that choice. And when you try and do that in an environment or do that when it's like people know you, it's like if somebody's known you for 15 years and then you decide that like, okay, this is actually who I am and it doesn't align, it's like, whoa, you've changed, or like, whoa, like, what's going on? But so yeah, all of that to say, I don't know what the hell I want, I don't know anything, but I'm trying to figure it out.
That's really, 1 minute.
Yeah.
He's saying the lights thing.
Nice.
Okay. Because yeah, I wasn't, basically, the last time I turned it on, the lights were flickering. So I'm
Really?
like, if it's fixed, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's why I'm like.
So far, so good.
Okay.
That's nice, yeah. Do you want me to go again with the other stuff?
I think we can.
It's fine, it's not that deep, guys. Yeah, we transported guys into another dimension. You know, the lights came on, the revelation was revealed, so. But yes, that was a long-winded answer.
No, that was a perfect answer.
Right,
I was going to ask you a second one, but I'm not going to lie, you answered that amazingly.
Thank you.
I think a few things I wanted to touch on was, I think that's an honest answer about like not knowing what you want to do next. I think you don't have to like limit yourself to one career or like one thing. And I think the beauty, sometimes people say it's like a young person thing, but I think it's like a beauty of just like being a person in general is, like I'm reading a book, I always recommend it to be, I don't know if I recommended it to you. Atomic Habits.
I'm reading that as well.
So there is a
But I'm early in. I'm
early
like
in.
2 chapters in.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is a good read.
I'm literally reading it now.
And what I've like, one of the chapters later on talks about like this whole idea about like genetics when it comes to like I guess like doing stuff. So he talks about, I know Michael Phelps is one of them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the other person. But he talks about these 2 Olympians, and he's just like, look, one of them is like world class. So Michael Phelps, world class swimmer. He's won more Olympic medals, which is wild. But he's won more Olympic medals than in his sport. Like he's won the most medals, but also across all Olympic sports, he's won the most medals.
Yeah, crazy.
Which is wild to think. And what's wild is people said like, it's not even people said, he's won more medals than some countries.
Yeah,
won
crazy,
medals, which is crazy. But so he's obviously a world class swimmer. There was this other person who does like long distance running. So he does like mile runs, 5Ks, all of this stuff. And the interesting thing between like both of them is he was saying that it's really interesting that, you know, their genetics play a huge part. So Michael Phelps, I think
He's a fish.
He's basically a fish. He's got like long body.
Like I swear, some people were like, he shouldn't compete. He's way too genetically like advanced. Yeah.
But literally, like we said, like the way his body like is built helps him so much in his sport. And with this runner, he said it was the same thing. So I think with the runner, he said he has a longer torso but shorter legs. And he basically said like, what's interesting about it is if you swap the sports that they compete in, they'd actually not even qualify for the Olympics because they both wouldn't do really well. And he basically was saying in the book that like essentially, not that you can't, because I think he was saying like there's this whole idea that like you can do anything that you want. And he was just like, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not that you can't do anything, but he was just like, there are environments that if you put yourselves in, you know that those are the environments that you do really well. So like me, I know I'm not a coder. So if you're coming to me and just like, Jeffrey, I've got this code, I'm trying to build this app, I couldn't help you. No, I could learn about it. I might be able to eventually get to a stage where I could do something okay, but I'm not going to be great at it. But, you know, if you're asking for like public speaking or, you know, advice on like video editing and stuff like that, that's my bag. So he was saying like your environment really helps you to figure out that. So I think, like he said there, it's like understanding that like as your environment changes, you grow up and you like go to different areas, try different things, you will develop that like area that you're really good at. And then the second thing I was going to say is, so you're saying you don't know, so we can't expect you to be DJing at a Pick Up the Mic event.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but it's weird because even though even though I don't know what I will end up or like the big, I have had some revelations. I want to work for myself. I don't work for no one.
I get it.
I want to DJ for fun. I realize I don't want to DJ as a career. So yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for vibes, but I don't want that to be my career.
Yeah.
So I found out some truths that are getting me closer there, but I think it's a lifelong pursuit.
100%.
I don't think anybody figures out. I think even the people who've been doing something for 40 years, they don't know that that's what they want. That's just all they've ever known. And that's fine. It still can be right, but like, I think now I don't necessarily like see it as like an answer that I need to find. That has been very liberating.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
thank you so much. We're gonna go into the first official question of the episode.
So what was that?
This is all the prelude.
Okay.
This is where we go into all the detail, we find out more about you. So we're gonna start off with essentially looking at your educational journey. So your works, you mentioned that you have a wide number of titles that you carry. But your work spans storytelling, mental health, but most importantly, reimagining education. So how did your journey, because you didn't mention this at the start, I'm going to do it for you, because I'm here to be a MC and shout out about our amazing guest speakers, because you're also an Oxford grad.
I am.
So how did your journey from Oxford and Harvard lead to you to focus on these intersections between storytelling, mental health, and reimagining education?
Yeah. So all of it starts before Oxford or Harvard, actually. And I think those were just spaces or vehicles to get closer to where I am today. But yes, my undergrad was in psychology, philosophy and linguistics at Oxford, which I started during the pandemic. And I think everything before, my upbringing really is so direct, plays such a big role in like everything I do. I often look at my work and I realize most of it is a love letter to my younger self. I grew up in a place, I grew up in Wood Green, I grew up in Haringey, North London, and like a lot of my surroundings or the things I saw were there was just a lot of struggle. Like whether that's due to poverty, whether that's mental illness, violence, like whatever it is, I just watched or at least experienced like, I don't know, just like the norm was just people struggling and suffering. And I think that shaped my worldview deeply to be deeply interested in like social justice issues or mental health, because I also, my own mental health and people in my family, my loved ones, I grew up with a lot of mental illness around me and experiencing myself, and I just saw how damaging it was. I grew up with a lot of violence around me and experience, and it was just like, how do we get out of this? And it was interesting, when I went through my own personal journey of like figuring things out, I did all the internal work, or the therapy, or the whatever. My interest in psychology, it did come directly probably from like, also people. From day one, I've been interested in people, but like trying to like figure out some of these problems. And after I did all the internal stuff and searching, I just kind of got to a point where I was like, it's actually just the things around me. Like I can do everything I want and process all this trauma, but like, if I'm still poor, or if people, like, you can have somebody go do years of therapy, but if they still can't pay their rent, if they still can't, I don't know, like, have the language or get a job, like, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna be struggling. So, you know, I started leaning and learning into thinking about human development and get, like, how, like, opportunities. When I was growing up, people were always like, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be like a prime minister, you're going to do like politics. And I've always been interested in that. But I quickly realized those systems are broken and not necessarily ones I think I can work with. Not to say that education is like research systems are, because they are, which I've come to learn more and more. But, you know, psychology, I was like an English lit girly. Like I loved English, I love writing, I love books, I love stories. I used to walk around with like piles of 10 books, like dead ass. And like, I always loved that, but I liked science too. So psychology was a nice middle ground of like, okay, this is about people, but it's also about science and like, you know, how can we navigate it? So psychology kind of was always gonna be the case, but I knew I didn't want to do straight psychology because the way my brain works, the way I function is super like, well, I've got ADHD, but also just like interdisciplinary. So I knew I wanted to do it with something. So when I was applying, I was like, okay, I always loved literature. I didn't know what linguistics was before I actually applied. But like my friend Greg, shout out Greg, sat next to me in my psychology class, was like a big linguistics nerd. And I was like, what is that? And he would just tell me all these cool things and bits. And I was like, wait, I love this. Because it's just, every time I tell people I studied linguistics, they're like, oh, what languages do you speak? And it's like, no, like I studied the science of language itself and the power that words have and stories. So that kind of goes to the storytelling, communication, like always read books. A lot of actually my like, honestly, like my morals and like a lot of the things about me, I learned from books. Like, I was a Percy Jackson kid. I grew up with Percy Jackson down. Like I like, even though it was fiction, a lot of the ways I went to see the world came from that. And that's a problem too, because some of the idealistic things, like I actually was like, yeah, we'll get back to that. But like, yeah, so stories were always really important. Language I found from like books like, you know, George Orwell, 1984, and this really great book called Vox by Christina Dolce about like this world where like women could only say 100 words. Oh, wow. Like they have a thing on their wrist and then after that it like electric shocks them, and it was great dystopian. I love dystopian fiction. All of this to say, I just saw the power of books, stories and words, and research. I grew more and more interested in, and I actually got involved in my first youth participatory action research project at 17, in year 12. So it all just kind of happened around me. And finally, like that was the first time someone was like to me, what is your experience of the education system? How does it support your mental health? Meanwhile, I'm here fighting for my life, like feeling like like my experience of school before sixth form was bad. Like my head teacher and me had beef. Like I was high achieving, but they also thought I was trouble because I asked questions, I talked back. So all of this just pushed me to feel like, okay, like I think and I was a high achiever. So I was like, I have the ability to do something. Like, and that's the one place I'm getting this gratification. Like, wow, you do so well in school. Wow, you're so smart. Like you can do something. You know, education did give me the sense of power or agency where I didn't have it in the rest of my life. I couldn't do anything about my financial situation. I mean, I worked from like 15, I tried my best. I couldn't really do much like to help my parents like I wanted to. So education was the way it was like, and being Nigerian, and that background is like, okay, so parents are immigrants, they come to the country, you get a good education, you become rich and you save your parents, the typical story, do you know what I mean? So I also went to a sixth form that was very much like, it was a state sixth form, but it was selective. Like you had to get so they very much pushed like Oxbridge. And I was always like, why not me? Like if anyone, why not me? That's been my mentality from day dot. So I applied and I was like, let me just try it. Let me see. I always wanted to prove I could do it. I can't lie. Like, I am a bit of a I like being the best. Yeah. So I just wanted to show that I could do it. So when I actually got in, I was like, I actually was not gonna go. I was gonna reject it and go to Warwick because I was scared that I would have no friends because there wouldn't be black people and that I wouldn't fit in. And like already going from school in Wood Green to like my sixth form, which is in Finchley, it's not that deep, but it was a bit more, like the more I've gone through education, the whiter it's got. And I've just been like, you lot don't relate to me, you don't understand me. So I wasn't gonna go. I was really feeling really nervous about it. But also my parents were just so happy. I was like, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna make it work. And then COVID hit and I was like, what the heck? Went to Oxford, was like one of 2 black people in my entire college. And yeah, Oxford was an experience. But when I was at Oxford, I think I got to really, really get like super into this idea of like, I don't know, language and thought was really like a big focus of mine. So metacognition and like, does the way we think affect the way we speak? Does the way we speak affect the way we think? And I had these incredible tutors and like got into real beautiful conversations about culture. And I think I got to do the more cross-cultural, global education, especially studying linguistics. You're looking at Welsh, you're looking at like, I don't know, like Croatian and all these different languages and like learning how to decipher them. So I think my background in linguistics really helped me think a bit more globally. And growing up in London, it's very multicultural. Like I grew up around like Albanians, bare Turkish people, Polish people, like Jamaican people. So again, my time there, ironically, despite it being so like predominantly white, but like most of my friends were like, my brother would always say my friendship group looked like an airport. Like he would always take the piss. It helped me think more internationally, and that's really like a lot of my ethos, like global, like now. Psychology really sharpened up my research skills. I did work in the baby lab. I got to continue to do work with that research when I was 17. I started doing more like decolonial work. I started doing stuff like, mini presentations. Like I just started getting a bit more confident with doing that sort of work. And yeah, but it was also really like my time when I was at Oxford, my personal life was really, really, I was going through a lot. So it was very hard. It was very hard being a minority. It was very hard being in this beautiful fairy tale looking place and like literally like my internal world looked nothing or felt nothing like my external world. But I grew confidence. Nothing will ever be as rigorous as what I'm thinking. Like that's actually been ever since. Nothing has ever been as rigorous. So in a way, I will say it set me up for everything else to feel a bit like not easy, but like easier. Just because it's like like I was given 3 essays and a problem sheet and like more a week. Like, and when I found out my friends were doing an essay a month, I was so pissed. I was like, what the hell? Because I was doing a joint degree as well. So that was rough, man. Yeah, Oxford was Oxford. And then I had less than a year off, and that was dark. I'm not gonna lie, like nobody or not enough, I think maybe more these days, but like I wish people spoke more about how hard that transition is post-degree. It's hard. Like I had just graduated Oxford and I felt like a bum. Like I actually felt like hopeless. Because my whole life, the way this, like, I guess that's the bittersweet thing about education being almost a way out. My whole life, like, that is how I'd been given my gratification. You're good at school, you're great, whatever. It's like, now I've graduated from Oxford, this can't be my peak. This can't be the best thing I ever do. Like, what now? And that what I was saying about not knowing, that was even more potent then. So when everyone else moved back home to their family and their parents. Being a young carer, At that time, I just lost my mom. Like, I moved to be independent straight away and look after my like severely like troubled siblings. So I always say I got drop kicked into adulthood, and I had no sense of what I really wanted to do. I didn't really feel like I had the guidance either. So I really struggled. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're so talented. Everyone's gonna want to give you a job. But no, actually the market and like, it just was a really tough time. I was really struggling. That's when I started DJing, which was beautiful. So there's actually a lot I discovered in that time, but it was hard. And funnily enough with Harvard, like when I was applying for Harvard, I always tell everyone, that was the only masters I applied for. I did do one for NYU, but I at NYU, man. I didn't want them anyway. But aside from NYU, Harvard was like, I'd applied for Harvard, kind of on a whim, but like I was trying to be an A&R. I was trying to go into the music industry, so I'd signed up for the Sony A&R program. I'd also did the 10K Black Intern scheme. Sorry guys, because I was supposed to be an art. I was supposed to be a people and culture intern at an art agency, and I dropped out last minute to go to Harvard. But come on, guys, come on. And everything else was not a master's, and it wasn't in the US, and it wasn't. But for one reason or other, everything else just didn't work out. Like, whether it was like, I was gonna go into like recruitment, and like literally I got to the final stage, and I don't know what it was in my body. Like, I literally was like violently ill, like before my interview, and I didn't go, and I didn't reschedule it, and I was like, it's like almost like a sign, I don't know. Because it would have been a good paying job, like for the time, but like something in my gut, I feel like I'm not a 9-to-5 babe. I don't want to work like in a normal structure. Like, I just actually don't desire that. I got to like the final kind of group, and I didn't get it, and I was devastated. Even though they were going to be paying me pennies, and it was actually, let me not speak too much about how big brands use interns, but anyways. Everything else wasn't making, the art thing was about to land. I'd actually like signed the contract and everything. But then I was with Hope, Thinking Black, and like got the offer from Harvard, and was like, yo, I didn't even really think this was gonna happen. I know I didn't think it was gonna happen, because when they said now run me to my 100K, I said, wow, 100K? I don't even have 1K. I don't even have 1.1K. Like, I can't. So this, and this is probably the crux of things. Like, it's everything in between Oxford and Harvard. So that period between getting in, this was about January 2024, and going, June 2024, I had basically, well, maybe even March, I had basically 2 months to find 100K. And they gave me small stipend, less than a quarter of the cost. And you have to, the thing about it is you have to have that in your account all at once, like ready to go before you can even get your visa and everything. So basically what that led to was a campaign. Like, I did a whole fundraising initiative. I had to go bear my life out on the internet, and start, like, that's where Sounds of the Diaspora kind of bloomed as well into in-person stuff, because I started throwing events, whatever. But that period, that was really hard. Like, as a Nigerian, we don't like asking for help. Or at least me, I don't like my family, it's hard to ask for help or to feel like, it felt like I was begging. I actually feel like, I know, the description is probably a bit too, I just felt like I was on the street, like, please help me. But anyway, point being, in that 2 months, the support I got was insane. And we were all waiting for like a big Stormzy to drop a bag, or like that never happened. What happened was like 400 people gave between, £1, £5, £10, like small, what they could. People who I know don't even have really the means to be giving. My community, bro, my boyfriend, my first ever boyfriend from when I was like 14's mum had donated. Or like my friend that I thought, well, my old friend of me, like people were coming out of the woodworks that I just never expected. A stranger to this day that I don't know donated a K. Like, it was crazy. And like, I like that experience of support, and then the creative things I had to do to facilitate it, that was life-changing, almost more than the degree. Because that was like, wow, one, I'm a community organizer. Two, like, community is everything. Like, there's people, the way the words people were sharing, the way other people were inspired, to a point where like now, a year later, I've been able to help like 6 students, Black British girls, Black British people, do the same sort of thing. And they're now, literally they just started at Harvard.
Wow.
Like some are at Hugsy, some are at different Harvard schools. Like the legacy it's now created as well. And they smashed my fundraising goals. I was like so proud. But all of it to say like, it was all the struggle of the journey in between. It's the same with Oxford. It was like when I was feeling alone, isolated, when I was struggling, it was all the things in between, all the people who unexpectedly showed up for me, all of the times I had to push myself. It was all of those things, being a student, but like being a student was always like, I had like 16 million things going on, and being a student was almost a side hustle. And that's what is the reality for like so many people like me, where it's like, you're a student, but you're a young carer, and you've got a million things that you're going through. You can't even put yourself really fully into your education. So also Harvard was almost a redemption for me as well, because during Oxford I was going through so much. I got my good grade, I got my 2-1 and whatever, but it still didn't feel good enough. And like, so when I went to Harvard and I actually had the chance to like do that and pour into it, and I still went through a lot, that was like so healing for me. And then also the fact that I was be able to create that ricochet community change. And all the people I met along the way and all the incredible stories, care leavers, estranged people, all like the horrible things people went through and are still like leading in their fields. Those are the things, the people and their stories, and like those inspire me. I don't remember what the question was.
No, you answered it, man. You answered it. That was perfect.
I don't know what the question was.
I've got a lot to say, and I know time is going, so I'm going to ask the most important thing.
Go on.
I have two questions.
Cool.
It's not one of these, but it's based on what you said. Question number 1. Big, massive Percy. I'm a Percy Jackson fan.
Oh, I love Percy Jackson.
Who's your favourite character? And if you were to be in that universe, who would you want to be a child? Which Greek god?
Okay. I like Nico. Misunderstood, little Nico. And you know what? When he came out, like in that, like I don't even know what year it was. That was the first time a character, like that was probably one of the first times I've seen like a queer character. I remember being like 40, I don't know how old I was, under the covers like, what? Nico's gay? Crazy. That's why he hates Annabelle. Annabelle. I like Nico. I had a crush on Leo Valdez. That was my like literary crush. I also mess with all of them. I mean, I liked Hazel as well. Hazel and Leo. It's been a while. And then back then, I thought I was a child of, I thought I either was gonna be like an Artemis Hunter, but then like, I'm not gonna lie, the whole like swearing off men for life, I hear it, but I don't know if I hear it. I think I'm a bit too needy for that, so maybe not. But she's cool. I think Artemis is cool, like her and Apollo, Artemis and Apollo. To be honest, now Apollo probably makes sense. Back then I thought I was either Artemis, Athena, which makes sense. Like I see myself in Annabeth as well. I think it'd be cool to be a daughter of Hades as well, just because like he's just cool, like deaf and everything. These days, Apollo probably makes sense of like music and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And then my second question.
What about you though? Who's
me?
for
Favorite character, it's got to be main MC Percy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Percy fan. I think it's because look, I'm a Spider-Man fan at heart, and Percy reminds me of Spider-Man.
Same energy.
So, just like goofy.
Yeah.
They know like when like. Someone says the time you know like not to mess with Spider-Man if you're fighting Spider-Man and this man is not dropping any jokes and he's dead serious.
True.
He's just like I'm throwing hands and no conversation. That's the time you run, you apologize, you forget crime. And it's the same with Percy. Percy, he's goofy, he loves to joke around.
Until you mess with Annabeth. Then you're done.
Have you watched the Disney Plus show?
It's really good. I watched the first few episodes. Obviously, it's made for like young people, which is like. I hear, I'm not that young anymore, but they did good.
Yeah.
They did good.
Yeah, the second season's coming out.
Is it? I need to watch
December
it.
this year.
But I don't know, Logan Lerman was a perfect casting.
I get it.
I don't think anyone can a lie. Like, Logan Lerman is Percy Jackson.
I get it.
Yeah.
They allegedly, there was a rumor that they were going to, or people wanted him to
cameo.
to come back to the show. But I don't know, like, I don't know.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
If he's like, I don't know, like a future Percy, or he's like, just that one little, But Rick Riordan did his thing. I also read like Kane Chronicles. Same. And what's the other one?
Oh.
The Nordic one I tried.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really...
I liked Kane Chronicles though.
Kane Chronicles,
yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Apparently they're making more Percy Jackson books, no?
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Wait, I finished that Heroes of Olympus.
Oh no!
I'm behind.
So they've got 5. So he's got 5 books, all on the track. So basically, there's one where Apollo basically is turned into a human.
Crazy.
And it's basically on his journey. He has to prove himself to Zeus that he deserves to be a god.
Zeus is such a bad man, and not a good bad man. Bad man. That man is the problem every time.
Honestly,
him and his not keeping it in his pants.
Honestly, but then also he's got another book. So he's got a book like a continuation of Percy Jackson, but it's post Heroes of Olympus and what is that? Magnus Chase. So both the Norse book and the Heroes of Olympus stuff.
Yeah, because I guess they overlap time-wise.
Yeah, so it's all about like when they're at college. So Annabeth is at the Roman University. And
I need to read that.
It's good. I read the first one. It's more like one-off adventures, but it's with the original 3. So I think one released last year. Wow. But yeah, I did. It's funny because I wasn't expecting to go into
I think actually where I was in Harvard, I think Rick Riordan is based in Boston.
Yes,
someone was telling me, and apparently he used to do. So I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'd actually want to meet him. That was really a big part of my childhood.
This is
Rick Riordan. I love you.
You could come here in the next season. You could be in the next season if you want to.
I know. Maybe if I go back to visit Harvard. Yeah. I'll let him know.
Yeah, 100%. My second question is based off of one of my... I never got to meet this person, which was sad, but one of my favourite people in the world, which is Stan Lee. Oh, yeah. And Stan Lee was on this person's podcast. Oh, same. Marvel has not been the same without him.
It actually hasn't, it's fallen off a bit.
Yeah. But he basically he was on someone's podcast and he was talking about his favourite word. And his favourite word was the F word. And he said the reason why is because he said... It's just he said it's a noun, it's an adjective, it's a verb. It was just it can be used for so many things, and the tone you use it in reflects what the sentence is. And he said if there was one word that he would add to the English language and it would be commonplace, it would be that. So my question to you is, do you have a favourite word?
That's really good.
Or do you have a word that isn't necessarily in the English dictionary, but you would say should, if you were in charge of languages, English language, you could put a word and say, this is officially a word that's coming in. What would be your word?
Oh, that's a good question. That's hard.
I can come back to it.
Yeah.
Come back to it? Okay.
I didn't think about it because I'm
there's a lot of words.
There's a lot of words. And they already kind of exist. I'm trying to think of some slang. There's some slang words that British slang has become more salient to me now that I've been away. I'll come back and why do we sound like this? You don't know what we sound like. We sound so British. Maybe not us specifically, but I came back and was this is what we sound like. We sound goofy as hell. This is how they hear us. We sound like we're eating crumpets and I don't know. Anyway. All of that to say though, I love London slang. I think some London slang is just I love some British shade as well. Oh, bless her. But bless her doesn't mean a good thing. Oh, bless her could be good, it could be bad. And I say that a lot. Maybe come back to me, but I think it's going to be a British shady
slang.
Sort of slang.
Okay,
where we're trying to be polite, but it actually doesn't mean anything good. It means bad things. Yeah.
The one comment I'll say about, you spoke about a lot, and there is one thing that I do want to touch on, is which you said about the study of languages, because I think linguistics is an interesting subject, because I saw someone talking about on Instagram that they find it's interesting that even algorithms are potentially changing how languages, the way languages are used. So obviously, and I guess I need to be careful because I'm uploading this to YouTube and I don't want this to be blocked. But they were saying essentially so if someone's on Instagram and they want to talk about, let's say sensitive topics maybe suicide or death, that essentially they can't say that on Instagram. So they said that people then went around and were starting to use unalive and stuff like that.
Yes, that's interesting.
And then they said that apparently, so I guess, people within TikTok and Meta,
they're onto us.
They were just okay, so people are still they've now come with a new word around it. And then they said there's a new word that's now being used. And he was basically saying it's really interesting to see that how because the algorithm's just certain stuff will be blocked if they mention, X, Y, or Z, it affects how colloquially we then discuss this topic on social media. Because as soon as you use certain words, it's boom, the video's blocked, or People for flagging your account as like something to be concerned about. So yeah, it's really interesting to see that like even on like a social media stage, the way that language is also ultimately affected or changed is really interesting.
Absolutely. I have two things that makes me think of. One is one of them I wrote about in my personal statement. Language is so powerful. One being like, with what you were saying is really interesting. So a lot of my work going forward and this last year has been about grief. I'm really, really interested. I've become kind of like, obsessed with death sounds crazy, but like leaning into thinking about it, talking about it, exploring it more because it's been so. I actually got a tattoo, like one of my, I don't know where it is actually. I got a tattoo that like, my boyfriend, he hates it. Okay, I'll show you later, but it's basically a little Grim Reaper. Did you ever watch Billy and Mandy's? Oh, it's so good. I love animation and adult animation cartoons, so that's a segue. But I'm really into death right now. And, you know, if you talk about death, you talk about grief, you're gonna probably have to say words like death and grief and maybe suicide and X, Y, Z. So it's interesting that like, actually, by flagging those words, content, or like making the algorithm, you are even like pouring into that taboo of like, so why can't we need to like, okay, suicide happens and it is a triggering thing, but doesn't mean we don't talk about it. And if you're censoring people's access to information or spaces to speak about it as well, that's a problem. 100%. So that's quite interesting, and you see it very much happening with like, you know, people can't even say the word Palestine. Like, I don't even know if you keep that in here, like without content being like kind of crazy. So, but the creative ways people use watermelon emojis and whatever, it's like, it's interesting how it affects our ability to adapt and like how we generate new language and ways to communicate, but it's also like the power systems. And a good example is, this was like in my personal statement, there's this really cool book called The Linguistic Cabinet of Curiosities. And it's basically this book, it's like a dictionary of words that no longer exist for whatever reasons. So one word is bassiate. And bassiate comes from the French origins of the word to kiss. And it used to be in the English language, but it was basically eroded or like got rid of, like removed from dictionaries. People talk during the plague, back in whenever the plague was in England, to try and stop the spread of sickness. It's really interesting, right? Yeah. But like, really interesting, really cool about how as a mechanism, I don't know if it really worked, but like a step away from 1984 where it's like, you know, you take away language of like revolution or like actually to stand up, and these concepts actually. And if you look at like Be Forgotten, if you look at a lot of research, and like this is a field I'm super interested in, like language and thought of like the way the language we have access to does affect how we think. There's loads of classic examples. People usually hear about the Eskimos having 1 million words for snows, or like there's this tribe called the Hopi and how they conceptualize time, or like, you know, some languages don't have words for like certain colors, and how does that mean they see color? Like, it's very, very, very powerful, and people take it for granted because it's just the standard thing that most of us have access to. But when you now learn and think about how you can manipulate language or how people do, you're like, wow, they have been brainwashing us our whole lives. So I think there's a lot of the work that I do and that we're doing. Like, I want people to think a bit more about reclaiming language, and language is really in this any power structure power struggle, is a really important place of tool or exploration.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. I have also seen the time. I've also seen the time. I'm enjoying the conversation, but I also know that this room may be booked after us. So I'm just like, I will also keep, like I told you, I'm a yapper, so I also need to bite down on my own tongue. But we need to talk about all the work you're doing. You've mentioned Sounds of the Diaspora. That's what the next question is all about.
Nice.
You blend music, movement, and creative reflection in what you do. You've kind of touched, if you feel like you've answered this question, or any of the other ones, feel free, and I can move on. What inspired you to start it is the first part. But I think the second part is probably the most important one, which you haven't touched on yet, and I know this from talking to you about it, but how does it connect people across borders?
Yeah, that's right. So it started, like I was saying earlier, I started COVID. Oh, I didn't start COVID. I had nothing to do with that, right? I take that back. I started my undergrad in Oxford during COVID. And it was because of my situation. I was on campus and it was pretty much abandoned. So it was a really lonely time. And I had all these things and conversations to think about music and identity, but I don't know, I was just very isolated. So it started as a podcast and a way to connect to people and think about identity. And I was just asking my friends and people around me. So that was kind of the origins. And I never really imagined it to become what it is today. So it started this need for connection, loneliness, but really it started with this feeling of being in between and being in a liminal space of being too black to be British and too British to be Nigerian and kind of like my cultural identity. But then I was like, wait, even just growing up as a black girl in Green and being kind of a nerd and not really fitting in with my blackness and just this like, I don't fit in, I'm like multiple things feeling and finding out that loads of other people resonate. In terms of connecting people across borders, one thing that was really beautiful was like, it was really great to like come in with my fundraising mission because I was like, I kind of trying to show people why I want to go to the US and do this master's, the things I want to do. And even through that, I got them to think about and explore their liminalities and their stuff. And then when I went to the US, I knew I wanted to do stuff there with Sounds of the Diaspora, but I couldn't imagine just how much I would do and I would find a whole team. And also in Puerto Rico as well. So when I went to my master's, I was like, I knew I wanted to throw a festival or throw an event. And I like, just kind of by chance or by different beautiful ways, these people are like my really good friends now. I found individuals who, whatever shape, form, different stages of their life, like have experienced this in-betweenness. Shout out to like the US team, that's Malika, Marco, Jada, Huan Yan, Yilan, Kayon, to mention a few, all the people who supported us. They are all people who have like, I don't know, lived somewhere and had to move somewhere else. Like Huan Yan is Chinese, but grew up in Singapore, super international, spoke about how that feels. Marco is the army brat, so he's Puerto Rican, and already there's so much mixed heritage. So we are all very different. We're different ages, we're different backgrounds, different everything. But Sounds of the Diaspora was this thing that brought us together because we all cared about advocacy, we all cared about creativity. And it was beautiful there. We threw like 10 plus events. We did charity events, we did movement-based things, and that was one thing that they really helped me pour into more. We did things with young people, we did things with older people, we did prison abolition work, trans resistance, like we did so many things. And now that I'm back, we're still operating across the Pacific Ocean. We actually had a meeting yesterday. We had to find a time zone that works for Singapore, Boston, and London. And for anyone wondering what that is, it's 1 p.m. London, 8 p.m. Singapore, and like 8 a.m. Boston. So, you know, that's how you know we're dedicated. Yeah. But working across borders is like, it's so beautiful to find that like I went to the US and I saw people who had the really the same experience as me, or even to Puerto Rico, the same things. And it's like, there is so much like, we're in a time in the world where differences are really tearing people apart, clearly, in so many facets. But there's so many things that we're really, like, we're the same. Like, we grew up in completely different parts of the globe, but we are the same. And I really searched for those things in the human experience that are, like, the through lines. And I think there's just, I don't know, a lot of connection and joy. When we throw our festival, we ask people to remind them what makes them think of home, and we find 16 different dumplings from different countries, but they're all dumplings, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there's just the beauty of drawing from different backgrounds, experiences. It helped me rethink my biases as well, my predispositions. And yeah, it's just exciting. It's just exciting to also have to adapt your work to different environments or contexts, because when you've just got kind of one context that you keep responding to, you might feel quite comfortable in how you're doing things. But I think the sort of work we want to do that is global and expansive has to be very it has to be very flexible and adaptive and culturally responsive. So really got to practice that a bit during my time in Harvard.
Incredible. And that kind of links to our mic check, a fact or figure related to the conversation of today. And according to the British Council, from a survey that they did in 2023, 70% of young people in the UK believe learning about different cultures and identities can improve social cohesion and mental well-being. And I think that's really key to, based on what you just shared there. Like, it's great that you, like, Sounds of Diaspora isn't just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like we said there, it's international in the sense, like, through the work that you're doing, but also through the team that's doing the work. Because I think sometimes, and like you said, like, whether it's because, like, I don't know, like, you might have an organization and you might not have people in the, like, you might support a certain group of people, but you might not be from that group of people. So you don't necessarily know the best way to support them. But when you have, like, that big, like like, and I know like diversity sometimes for some people feels like a buzzword, but like when you have a mixed group of people from different walks of life, from different cultures, from different backgrounds, but like talking about their journey, that's really key. And even like you said, like some people might be thinking, oh, Jeffrey's saying like, for example, like, oh, like if I was to run a business and we were going to do something and like, let's say the team is all Nigerian, we were doing stuff in Nigeria, you know, that's bad. And I'm saying no, because even like you said, like we're both Nigerian, we both grew up in London, but we both have different lived experiences. And it's when you accept people from different lived experiences, you then like see like, I don't know, there's a beauty that comes from the work that like of having people who aren't the same, I don't know, like same background, same school, same part of London, you know, and I think that's really key.
And one thing you said, I don't think she coined it, but Adrienne Marie Brown is an incredible activist, but in general, a big theme is the quote, nothing about us without us is for us. Nothing about us without us is for us. You know, any problem you're trying to solve, any work you're doing, if the people who are the subject of it aren't a part of it from the get-go to the finish, when it's about them, if it doesn't involve them, then it's not really for us. And that's a real bit philosophy I believe in.
No, 100%. Yeah. We're going to go on. Actually, no, we're not. I was about to go on to the next question. That is not true. We are going on to Treasure Talks. Tumi has brought a piece, an item that's of significance to her. I have no clue what it is. This is my honest reaction to it. So could I know what it is and how it's significant to you?
Yeah. I know this just looks like my keys, and it is my keys, but what we are looking at specifically is this little thing, which is a USB stick.
Okay.
And got my little Black Panther charm as well. But this, I was thinking about this when you asked me this, and there's so much I could say. This is my USB stick that has all my songs that I DJ with, so I really don't want to lose this because I have so many good mixes on there and I need to back it up. But, you know, most DJs you'll see, we carry around USB sticks to play our music. But this is significant for a couple of reasons. So my friend asked me the other day, what is your first memory of like being like truly into music? And I was like, I do not remember a time that I never was. But back in the days before we had YouTube, like YouTube was there, but it wasn't like just streaming platforms, whatever. I remember the way I used to listen to music on my little brick phone is you go to YouTube MP3 downloader, you download it, and then that's how you do it. Back in the days. And that's basically what most DJs do, I'm not gonna lie, same thing. So I thought it was kind of cool how like my first like ways that I would interact with music is to this day what allows me to DJ and facilitate that vibe. Also, another fun story is, I think it was this exact USB stick. I lost it once, or I left it somewhere in a pub or something like that. And I don't remember how. I think I was calling up to try and find it. And then somebody was like they found it. And then they were like, oh, like, this is a vibe, like all this music. Like they were listening to my music. So I went, it was just really cool. We had a really nice conversation. I was like, how cool is that? That like, it's kind of weird, but how cool is it that like they were playing all my music? But another thing is just the fact that like, there are thousands of songs in here. And they tell so many stories and so many reasons I've downloaded them, and I'm just kind of carrying them around in this little piece of metal. But like, there are so many stories, so many sets, and those sets are like experiences, people I remember dancing, all in this little like, I don't know, metal thing. And music is my language. Like, music is, there's very few things I'm sure of, but one thing I'm sure of is that music is like a real crux of like me, my passion is what I do. So always just kind of having this music on me. And even if I just pull up sometimes and there's decks, I can just stick this in. Like, it's just, I don't know, music is never gonna be detached from my work. And it's connected me with so many different people. So, and tonight it will do the same, but
You've got to let us know how it goes.
yeah, I will. But yeah, just music, like, and also technology. It's kind of cool that like, I still am actually quite interested in technology and doing stuff with tech. So like the fact that we've got to a point where it's like I don't need to be holding like a million vinyls, and whatever. It's kind of beautiful how things have developed. But yeah, I thought I'd bring my USB stick because it's got all my music in it.
Thank you. That's wonderful. The next question is about how do you think exploring our roots and our identity can influence mental health and personal growth, particularly for students and young creatives?
Yeah, it's so important. This is talking Thinking Black and Sounds of the Diaspora. Like, what, like history. I liked history. I don't want to learn about dead white men. I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, no offense, but like, I just like education, so many people who are like white British get to go and learn about like people, ancestors, history that are theirs, and like going through the education system and realizing like all of these topics, these like thingies, these conversations, they're not about me. It makes me not want to be involved. It makes me not want to learn. Like, it makes me detached. One thing that was really powerful about Thinking Black, and I talk about it all the time because it was really important, when I was a student on the program 7 years ago, and my essay I wrote was about why did the Tottenham riots not turn into a revolution? I grew up in Wood Green, Tottenham. I remember exactly where I was during those riots. I was in a kid zone, hiding. Like, it was crazy. But like, that was like writing about something that happened to me, that I lived through, that related to me, that spoke to my local area. I felt seen. And like, in a world where like, particularly when I was young and growing up, I think it's getting better now, I would never felt seen. I was never represented on TV shows. And if it was the angry black best friend. And even then, she was never dark skinned. You know, in media and like whatever. Like, I grew up as a black British girl, as a dark skinned black British girl. I grew up never feeling seen, never feeling reflected. And that really, really affected my mental health, my self-confidence, my sense of being. And I think education, we spend so much time in. We spend most of our time at school. We spend years in education, if you go at least up to like year 11. That shapes who you are during your developmental period. So if what you're consuming, and this is like so radicalizing, it's so like, you know, if what you're consuming doesn't reflect you, it isn't responsive, then you're being brainwashed. And you're not gonna be able to have the critical, and then when you now finally wanna come back and like, you know, decolonize your mind or whatever, what happens in your developmental period is so pertinent. Like, it takes years to undo. It's because it's your truth, it's who you are. So like, now everybody is doing, my generation, most are trying to undo that work. And all of the energy and time it even takes to undo that work whilst being a marginalized person trying to navigate the world, it's stressful. People are getting chronically ill, they're getting mentally ill. Like, I wish and dream of a world where like from the get-go, everyone, this isn't just black students, everybody can have that feeling of like, I feel seen by the words I'm reading, I feel reflected, I feel honored, because that's how we truly get to be liberated and have choice and do what we want to do and feel like we matter as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you keep giving a perfect answer. I don't need to add any more. I might need to swap roles and let you take over as host. But we've come to the final question before we get to passing the mic, where you'll get to ask me as many questions as you like. Yeah.
Cool.
I've never heard someone describe as interrogate. You know what? I'm a bit nervous now.
All right.
But looking ahead, what's one change you'd like to see in how communities connect and share their stories globally? And it can be in any way, whether it's digitally, whether it's conversationally, whether it's through a specific medium like art.
Yeah. I think regardless of the medium, the community, the culture, I think we have a real problem with like, why, when we're in an argument or conversation or dialogue or whatever, listening to understand, like, or just like the purpose, like intentional listening. I think we're in a dire drought of where you're actually coming to someone, whether they agree with you or disagree with you, and you're open-minded to like having your mind changed, / you actually want to hear what they want to say. And this is very pertinent in this black British, black American rubbish that I've seen a lot of like recently and experienced and like navigated is like, and I understand for so many people why not, because when you're so threatened and you're trying to like maintain who you are and you've always been kind of marginalized, there is this feeling of like whenever you're debating, arguing, talking to someone, needing to defend something that's always been attacked. But I do think like people don't listen. People go into arguments or go into conversations trying to convince the other person of their point. And you are supposed to do that, but like being open to change. I love when somebody can change my mind. I really love when somebody can like make me rethink how I think. I think that's like, wow, if you can do that, then you're having a really great point. So I think we should just kind of be a bit more open-minded. It is kind of rich, like there is a level of like, how can you tell me to be open-minded when my communities have been X, Y, Z? Like, I'm not saying there's like, Like, this is actually a good question. Like, there was a debate about should we reason with the enemy? Like, who am I to tell somebody to like be open-minded to the person who marginalized them? But that open-mindedness doesn't mean you relinquish your power, control, even that you have to like betray your values. It just puts you in a space where you can actually listen and you can actually take in what somebody's saying, and you can take what you want to take and leave what you want to leave. You can leave everything, but I just wish people were a bit more open, and I think that comes from empathy. I think we're in a bit of an empathy drought. But that being said, maybe I'm being unfair because I do think the younger generation is gearing up to be way more like global citizens and thinking about this like if somebody's suffering anywhere in the world, that is still my responsibility. So I'd like to see more empathy, maybe some more scaffolding as well. Sometimes people need support in having conversations. Like, it's very hard to have these, and like not everyone is just going to be like able to. Like, I find it like I do it a lot, but it's not everyone feels like they even can. So maybe we just need more people like to facilitate and support like having conversations across differences as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's it from me. So over to you. Passing the mic. Let me know what question or questions you would like to ask.
Okay, I didn't prepare anything, but I have one already that's come to mind.
Nice.
So when you were in school,
Yes.
can you remember any teachers or lessons that really stuck with you, changed your life, the way you think? Tell us about one.
I don't even know the last time I spoke about her. So a lot of people get surprised by my choices for A-levels because I like them because they were all subjects I liked, but there was no like career path with them. So it was honestly like, so I did drama, history, and physics.
Fun. Okay, that's amazing.
So people were just like,
What the hell?
what's going on? Like, what are you trying to do at uni? And I was just like, I like all three subjects. Like, let's see how it goes. So, I haven't seen her for a long time, and I don't know if she will even see this, but
Shout out to her.
my drama teachers, Mrs. Taiwo, and then Miss Leader. She married a Nigerian though.
Oh, good for her. Well, good for her or not good for her, to be honest. But that's another conversation.
But Mrs. Taiwo and Miss Leader. So Miss Leader was my drama teacher when I joined my school. So my school, a bit of context is, and this is my school's main claim to fame. Well, then, I'm not sure about now, they seem to be doing quite well, so maybe they have others. But did you ever watch MI High?
I love MI High. That was at your school.
Yeah, so basically the school...
We talked about that like last week.
Yeah.
I love MI High.
So basically my school was built on top of that school. So what happened was the school apparently got really rough. And then they brought it down, built my school, which is an academy, they kept one of our science block as the original like building that was there when they filmed.
Does it actually have the lift that goes into the basement? Nah, it's fake.
It would be nice.
Yeah, that would be cool, yeah.
But yeah, no. So when I joined, my school only went up to year 7. So like
you
a lot
were new.
of people, new. So like no sixth form.
So you got with the first.
Yeah, and like now people find it like people that go to that school, like people that I know who've asked me about like because they want to apply there. I tell them and they get really surprised because it's got primary school. It's now got the it has a secondary school all the way up to year 11. It's got a sixth form. They've built a school in Enfield that literally did the same thing. They now have a primary school, the Enfield one. So yeah, so it's very much like grown over like the last. I mean, I left there. Gosh, yeah, almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so essentially, so Miss Leader joined, we didn't have a drama department before, so she joined when I joined, and she would teach drama and English, and I did our school play. It was really great, she was really supportive. My funny story with it is that, I didn't live near my school, so a bit of context is, my school was in Barnet, I lived in Camden, so we did all the rehearsal stuff, all of that stuff, yada, yada. We did Bugs and Malone, I played Fizzy, which was fun. But the main context with that is because, school day finished at like 4, and then we had to be back ideally by 6:30, because then the play would start by like 7, so all of that stuff. I was like, well, I can't, my school, I didn't know this, but I was like, I can't stay at school because like, what would I be doing? But the school closes by 5, so I couldn't stay at school. And at the time, like none of my friends lived near the school. So like the people I was going home with most of the time, the people who I did know who lived near the school weren't in the play. So I was like, cool, I might as well just like head home. So I headed home on the first night, and then I was told my family like, look, I can only stay for a bit, eat, and then we need to go. Lo and behold, we're on our way there. We get stuck in traffic. Long story short, the reason why this context is vital is because she didn't hold it against my family or me, but Messina got stressed because it was coming to the point where like the plane needs to start and I'm stuck on the bus because there's loads of traffic. So I was in it. So
Was it the 221?
No, it was the 134. Yeah. So we were stuck in Highgate, and like my dad said, get out of the car, get on the bus, see if because the bus can go in a bus lane. She was like, it'll be quicker. So I get on the bus lane. I'm driving. Obviously, I'm getting like called by like people that I know that are in the plane. They're just like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Look, I'm trying to get there." So long story short, I got there in time. I literally had to run. So I was going to run down the road, but then my dad pulled up and he was like, "Get in the car." So I jumped in the car with my family, drove all the way down, and then so basically, I get to the school. I literally run in. I don't even, like, my stuff, my family keep, I literally run in, run backstage, and because if it was one of those ones where I'm not in till like later, they were like, oh yeah, cool, we'll just start without you. But I'm like one of the first people on stage.
Long day.
So they were just like, yeah, no, you need to like, so I literally ran in, and then the next day she was just like, yeah, you just stay at school, like, it's cool, I'll look after you. And then ever since then, like, I kept on doing drama. I love drama as a subject, it was really fun. I did it for GCSEs. Then Miss Taiwo joined, I think when I was either in year 8 or 9, great drama teacher as well. So yeah, those two especially. I also need to shout out because this was my Nigerian teacher when I was at my secondary school, Miss Nkwocha. She's now known as Miss Jose, but she's Nigerian too. She was my English teacher in year 7. Really fun, really good vibes. Obviously, like she's Nigerian, my parents are Nigerian, so my dad was just vibing on her. We're vibing with her, and my dad and my mum were vibing, and then just like, oh yeah, as a Nigerian, he needs to do well at school. And here's me just thinking like, oh gosh, like parents evening shouldn't, but no, my parents were funny because I don't think Miss Jose knows this, so she can't hold it against me now. And if she watches this, I'm so sorry. But there was I don't remember why. Maybe there was a day where I was supposed to do homework, and I generally either forgot or like didn't do it. And I was like, yeah, I didn't do it. I'm so sorry. And it's just like, cool, you're gonna have to have detention, whatever. And I was like, oh great, if my parents find out, it's gonna be a whole thing. So I'm so sorry that you have to find out like this, but I basically like lied because the day before was Nigerian Independence Day. So I was like, she was just like, why didn't you do it? I was like, it was just Nigerian Independence Day. I was helping my parents. She was like, really, what do you do? I was like, yeah, I help my dad cook. To be fair, I do help him cook, and I did at the time, but like I generally forgot, so I just like was lying. She doesn't know that, but she found out today. And then my final
Miss Jose.
My final teacher would be my physics teacher called Mr. Tolley. So he knew Miss Leader. A lot of the teachers knew at my school that I did drama as well. So this was in A levels, and I didn't know what I wanted to do at uni. I was like, when they were just like pick subjects, I was like, I couldn't tell you what I want to do. And also, again, like I said, I think because I wouldn't, like, I'm not telling anyone what to do when it comes to A levels, but my biggest thing was I didn't want to do like subjects just because it would get me to a degree. I was like, I'd rather just do 3 subjects, even if they're random, that I like, and then find something that works rather than like limiting myself to one. Yeah. So she knew him, and like they spoke to each other about me, and I was just like, I don't even know how we ended up talking about like what I wanted to do at uni, because I was like, I know for a fact like my parents would not want me to just do drama at uni. But I think also I was like, I like drama, but I was just like, I don't know if I want that to be my career. Like I love acting, I love doing comedies, it's so fun, making people laugh is always good. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go, because I was just like, I'd rather, and I think also, like you said, like you see that there are people that get into acting, but they never went to acting school, or they get acting later in life. And I was like, I know acting is always something that I could get into, but I was like, I don't know what I want to do like when I get to uni. Yeah. So I was like, I'm in and I spoke to my physics teacher so I was doing physics, and I was just like, you know what I really do like? It's like, I like this whole like sustainability aspect and like figuring out like how can you be more sustainable? He was telling me like at the time, I don't know if they're still doing it, but Japan was like researching how to make nuclear waste it's renewable, but it's not sustainable because the waste basically has to get buried underground in like a concrete like container so it doesn't like spill out. But Japan were looking to make it sustainable so we could use the waste to basically produce more stuff because fossil fuels are bad for the environment. Other sustainable energy sources don't produce as much energy as fossil fuels. So I was like, this is an interesting area. And he was like, well, have you thought about like looking for like a subject in that? And I was like, I don't know. And he was just like, well, do you think geography? And I was like, I didn't study it, but I don't know. And then he was just like, have you heard of environmental sciences? And I was like, well, what's that? And he was like, oh, well, it's looking at how the environment like impacts us, but how we impact the environment. It's very much like a broad subject. So then I remember, like, I don't even know if he remembers this, but like we sat down after, I think, like a lesson and like went through the subject, and he was like, oh, Brunel offers it, Queen Mary offers it, you could maybe do an environmental management course as well. And I was like, cool, like, let's explore. But yeah, those three especially, because like, Miss Leader, I say to this day, or like even doing drama as a whole, like, I say it's the reason why I'm like good at public speaking. A lot of people think that like some of the stuff I do is like rehearsed. I say for the most part, I don't write scripts. I don't like it. I prefer doing improvisation.
Yeah, same.
And like that was one of the things that drama taught me a lot, was how to be good at improvisation and just like, if you get given something, whether it's like you get asked to do a video, a podcast episode, you could just do stuff like on the spot. So I would say like that was, so Miss Jose and Miss Leader taught me that a lot. Not Miss Jose, Mrs. Taiwo and Miss Leader taught me that a lot. I would say Miss Jose was just like a really like chill teacher. And I think like, I guess I'm now at a stage where I'm the same age, which is wild, because when I think about teachers, I'm like, oh yeah, teachers.
They're so old, but they're actually young.
They're actually young. Yeah. Like even, I went back to my secondary school maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it was wild. So Miss Leader was there and we were talking, and then there were people that were like in year 11 or year 12, and they were just like, oh, like, so there was a different drama teacher there, and then so Miss Leader was just like, oh, Jeffrey was my drama, like studied, and like he was a student here. And then the drama teacher was the same age as me.
Crazy.
And I was like, that's wild. Because like when I'm hearing teachers, I'm still thinking like teachers when I was at school. But now I'm like, no, I'm the same age as like people going into education. So I think, yeah. And then finally, like Mr. Tolley, I say like, I wouldn't have done environmental science or even done my master's if it wasn't for like his like having that chat with me. Because I was thinking like my career path has changed many times. Originally, like you said, I was thinking about going into politics and maybe going to be like Prime Minister. But I personally said, I don't. Like, I got to a stage where I realized that it doesn't matter.
Don't need that stress.
Yeah, doing it stress. I know we've also had a long conversation about like politics as well. But yeah, for me, it was just ultimately realizing that like you can't, like, I think you're limited sometimes by like your party. And I've seen that like we're getting to a stage where organizations can do sometimes, and that's what I got to. I was just like, organizations can do more than like what a political party could maybe do.
I agree.
And some people get surprised by that. Like there was someone at my old workplace when they were just like, oh, like, I could really see you in politics. And I was just like, yeah, I thought about it at one time, but like afterwards I was like, no. And they're just like, no, you still could. But this day I'm like, no, like we pick up the mic. My hands aren't tied. I can talk. You
can stay true to your values and your mission as well.
100%. So I say that like if I didn't, like and then also wanted to do like nanotechnology and biotech. Again, that's funnily enough based off a book. They were talking about like clones, and I was really into.
Have you ever read It's Rocks? No. Oh, you didn't watch. Right, read that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was interested in that, and then obviously similar to you, I'm a nerd too. So comic books, Iron Man, of course. So I was just like,
is that your fave?
No, he's not my favorite. Spider-Man's my go-to guy. He's going to be. It's a bit funny because as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, I was wearing a Superman top, but the Superman film was pretty good. I recommend if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, I need to see it. Yeah.
It's good. It's got a nice warm message.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
Let me not go into a discussion. But yeah, those would be like the teachers that like really impacted me.
That's beautiful.
Especially if we're talking about school, those like I wouldn't have done the subjects that I did. I wouldn't have gone to Brunel if I didn't. Like if it wasn't for their support. So, yeah.
I love that. Shout out to teachers. Teachers can change lives. So most people I speak to has a teacher that really changed their life. Also, okay. Do I have time for one more question?
Go ahead.
This is generic. This gets asked a lot, but I'm gonna ask it again. Well, there's this, and then there's a follow-up.
Okay.
What do you think your younger self, and you can pick whatever age, you can be like maybe not baby, but like, what do you think they needed to thrive, to get to where, what do you think they needed?
Like,
I know that's pretty broad, but
No, I get it. I think.
And it could be something you got. that you
Okay.
did receive? It doesn't have to be something you didn't get.
I would say, I don't know. I'd say like definitely. I need to think about this. Needed to thrive. I would say it was probably like the stuff that I went through is the reason why so like obviously like there's some stuff that I probably in the moment wasn't grateful for or like didn't want to go through, but like I look back on it and I'm like, I don't know if I would be doing what I'm doing today if I didn't go through it, or I wouldn't be the person that I would like I am today. So like I think a lot of people get surprised. Like some people think that I'm a lot older than I actually am, and they're just like,
Still in my life.
honestly, and they're just, oh, you're so mature, you're so like this and that. And I'm
still
just
in my
like,
life.
no, like
I'm just traumatized. Like, literally, I'm like, I'm not mature. I'm just traumatized, but we'll take it.
And I think like I don't know. I just look back on life and I'm just like I don't know where, like, I don't know who I would be if I didn't go through, like, stuff I went through. And even, like, it was interesting because, like, I guess, like, in full transparency, like some people, and it's interesting, like you said, about, like, the way you talk or the way you act or carry yourself, people come with their, like, perceptions or bias of who you are. So, like, some people think, based on the way that I talk, like, I either, like you said, went to Oxford or Cambridge. People thought that when I was in secondary school, people thought I went to a private school. Even to this day, like, people are surprised that, like, I was on free school meals. And I was like, yeah, no, I was. Like, I just don't, like, I don't let that stuff, like...
Because also there's not one way of that looks as a person.
100%. And I think for me, it's just like, people get surprised. They're just like, oh my days, I didn't know this about you. And I'm just like, oh yeah, no, like, I've seen, like, stuff. But I just, like, if people, I tell people, you want to know more, like, I'm more than happy to talk about it. But, yeah, I just tell people, like, it's my main thing is, like, I don't have to fit any definitions. Even like you said, like, people thinking, oh, just because, like, and this is what I mean by, like, teenagers are the worst.
Teenagers are so bad, man, because they don't realize like the consequence of their words and actions. So they're really mean sometimes. Like,
100%.
they're really mean.
And it was just like people would be like, "Oh, you're like a bounty or a coconut because you don't talk in slang. You don't like, I don't like let my trousers drop till they're falling off and all this stuff." And I was like, no, like I just don't talk like that because that's just not me. And for me to like put it on, like just seeing
That's worse. That is worse.
So yeah, I was just like, I don't know. And I think it's one of those things where like, and I guess if you're a teenager listening, like
it's hard.
My biggest thing is 100%. It's rough.
It's actually very hard.
But I would say like just be you, and like you'll be surprised because that's what I feel was the biggest thing about it. And it was interesting because I saw someone, and this I didn't know, I've never said. But I saw someone say on LinkedIn, he was talking about his own journey with his business, and he said when he was 18, he ran like this like clothes selling business, and he basically said like his secondary school friends. So when he was 18, he launched it, and he was asking his friends to support, and they all turned around and like were laughing at him, mocking him for this, and were just like, "You're doing fashion, all of this and that." And I think it resonated with me because outside of Pick Up the Mic, I also run a creative platform called New Generation. The name will change. I know I've been saying that, but we're working on it. And there's an update on that, so I'll probably do a post about that at some point. But so I run something called New Generation, and when it started, it was a part of a uni project that I had to do based on improving sustainability, either in my local area, at my university, or doing like campaigns and stuff like that. So the first thing I did was I did a fashion show at Brunel, and I messaged, like my sisters were part of fashion societies when they were doing their masters, so they were just like, oh, we know people that, like, we're in group chats and we can just message people that we know and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, they were happy to take part. So the biggest thing was then, like, doing outreach. And I was like, oh, I'll message my uni friends to see if they're free. But, you know, like, it was my first year of uni. I was like, I don't really know these people. Let me message, like, some people that I know from secondary school. And it was the same thing. Like, people just like, oh, like, they were just like, oh, this is kind of, like, random. This is kind of weird. Some of them were just like, oh, are you doing this to, like, get girls or, like, bring girls and stuff like this? And then to me, I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done. And I left it, and I was like, I'm good. And yeah, so that first event went really well. Like, people enjoyed it. It was good. And then the second one, I guess, like we said, like, my biggest thing that surprises people a lot is I tell people, like, if someone annoys me, like, obviously it's annoying in the moment, I might moan and stuff, but I just love proving people wrong. So the second one, I was like, cool, we're going like all in. So the main issue is we did it at Brunel, and the issue with doing stuff at Brunel is just like transport. It's hard to get there if the transport's not working. Like, I don't think I was allowed to charge people tickets, so I was like, I can't even. And so people were just like, yeah, I'm so sorry I couldn't come, and like whoever came, and we had a good time. So the second one was in Camden, so I was like, I'm gonna do it in Central, I'm gonna like do it bigger. So we had a panel discussion, we had a fashion show, we worked with some people to do DJing, we had some photographers, had more models, all of this stuff. We got people from, so like literally I met someone through an event at my uni, and I was like, hey, I loved your talk. I know it's really last minute, but I'm doing an event in like a couple of weeks time. Do you want to be on the panel? He was like, yeah, sure. We had someone from, I reached out to WaterAid. They recommended someone from WaterAid who was interested. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually remember who the other two were on that. And that also was, in 3 years, 10 years ago, which is wild.
Time is flying.
But literally, like with that, it was literally just doing that event was like great. And then it was interesting because when I posted about it, and I think someone from secondary school who was like, I was close with her, and she had a birthday party, and like I saw some people from secondary school there. It was like, oh yeah, I saw this like fashion thing you're doing, man. Like, this looks really sick. And I was like, yeah, man, like it's great. Like I love doing it. It's fun. I get to meet cool people. So even when I would pick up the mic, people sometimes like, and I think it's just like, I would say if you're listening and I know someone from my church, he's like he's just there. He has finished his A-levels, he's got his results, he's going to City, which I'm very proud of, and he's proud of too. I know he was saying like he was running a business, or he's running a business, I should say, and like I know he was saying his like secondary school friends were like kind of rinsing him.
It's the age-old story.
100%. But I told him I was like, oh, man, you just gotta not care, like,
because they won't be hating when you're successful,
well.
And it isn't about them, it's about you.
100%.
And the people that you actually want to touch. That's same. It's the same. Same with rappers. You think like Stormzy wasn't getting clowned? Well, he's not a good example. But you think some of your favorite rappers weren't getting clowned?
100%.
Some of your favorite people, like it is a bit of a thing. I don't want to say it's UK, but it's a bit of the UK.
No, but I think it's also because, like, I think not necessarily related to like this, but I was talking to someone at my workplace, and we were talking about how. So I do a workshop called The Art of Networking. We were talking about like networking, how to network with people effectively, all of that stuff. And in that workshop, I mentioned that there's someone. As a part of like the department I'm in, we do a lot of like networking with members that we support, or like with our community on site. And one thing that she mentioned was, she said like networking does have like a cultural element to it. And I was like, 110% it does. Because in like, for example, America is not like saying that, and any Americans watching, this isn't me insulting you. This is me saying like culturally, this is something that I would say the UK could take from you. It's like when it comes to achievements. So Americans are very much proud about sharing their achievements. They are happy to like shout from the rooftops and be like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And
it seems less like we're supposed to be quote unquote modest and humble, where that's not really the case. You talk your thing, and I learned to do that because if you're gonna be all shy and humble, everyone else is talking that shit. So I completely agree.
100%.
Completely agree.
Even the person was saying, so like when it comes to networking, I talk about like, for example, I like culturally know that like if there's a conversation, if let's say two people having a conversation, I want to talk to one of them, I will let them finish or let them bring me to the conversation. Yeah. Whereas for some people, they're like, no, like, hey, I'm just gonna jump in and my button, and I'm just like, that's just like, to me that's like incredibly rude.
Yeah, but it's cultural.
But it's a cultural thing.
Cultural,
so 100%. I tell people. So yeah, all of that to basically say like, if you are like a teenager, or even if you're in uni and you want to start a business, like I saw an Instagram video on it, and I think it's true. They basically said it says it's cringe until it's not.
Facts.
Facts. Whether you want to do videography, a video, like a YouTube channel, all that stuff, like it's cringe until it's not.
Everyone starts in the cringe. And it's only cringe if you let it be. Like, actually doesn't have, cringe is a social construct. Think about it. I cringe, I'm like, I had to get rid of like cringing at myself. You really do. Like people, no matter how, even if you're really cool, like even it's not about the quality of your work ever. Usually, it's not about the quality of your work. It is just people not being able to like take themselves away from this idea of like somebody. Sometimes it's honestly, I say jealousy in the sense of like jealousy that somebody else can't dream as openly as you are. Like a lot of the time, it's like I wish I could put myself as vulnerably as you could, but because I can't, I need to now bring you down a notch, so 100%. I can feel a bit better about myself. And it's a big problem. Me, for example, if it wasn't for cringe, I would be a sick rapper by now. But that's one cringe I'm not going to get over. I can't go through like that, the curve that is, that was, yeah, they're going to roast me. They're going to roast me, so I'm going to keep my diss tracks to myself.
But yeah, this is, any other questions? Sorry,
No, that was interesting. I think I learned, a lot about you. I mean, I guess you kind of answered what my follow-up was going to be. What you just said is that, what would you say then to your younger self?
No, 100%.
Okay, let's do a fun one to end, question-wise. Oh, we have to bring into music and songs, and we've been talking about this in general. Sounds of the Diaspora. What is the sound of your journey then? Let's just let's zero in on your journey as founder, pick up the mic, director, all of the organizations. If you had to pick a song, I know it's hard, I know you try to make me see now this is revenge. To think of your journey as an entrepreneur, maybe a song, if that's too hard, a genre, an artist.
Can I pick 3?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
3 is my lucky number, let's do it. And then tell us why.
3 songs that encompass my journey, pick up the mic. I think one would be from this artist called Forrest Frank. He has this song called You're Always Better, and it's basically reflects like his. So basically, the song is all about like essentially I'm a Christian. I guess this context. So it's all about essentially like him. The chorus goes, and I get like. I'm gonna get rinsed if I sing it, but
Did we not just say we're abolishing getting cringe?
Fine. So it goes like, oh Lord, I need you now more than ever. Won't you put my heart back together? I search the world till my head hurts just to find out your ways better. So for me, it's a real reminder. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, vocalist.
Like people may have seen me wearing like a shirt with it, like saying "You're way better," and it's like a reminder to me that like essentially like I don't need to have everything figured out. Like I'm just trusting God and like things will happen. And like I think for me, that's what I've realized across the last 4 years to pick up the mic. Like and even long term, like in my school journey. So like a lot of people don't know that like. Oh. Yeah, there was a preacher that said it, and it got me thinking. I was just like, he was saying like, essentially, like people think like have an emphasis on like on happiness rather than joy.
As it's like end goal.
And he was saying
but
like
nobody knows what that looks like.
Honestly, and he was saying like happiness is this thing that like based on a circumstance, that's why you're happy. So it's very impromptu. It's not a feeling that lasts. And it's a feeling that sometimes you can just end up like always wanting to chase. But he said joy is something that it's like, I don't know, like you might be going out somewhere and then it's pouring with rain, but you're like laughing and smiling.
The little things
and,
sometimes,
And that stuck with me. So I would say that, and that song really encompasses that. And then my final one would be his other song, which this was, when I found out this TV show was coming out, I was so excited because this was one of my favorite childhood books. I've read all the books up to date, even after, like, as an adult, when they continued writing it, because the author went back. Alex Rider.
Oh, yeah.
So they did a TV show, and Sam Henschel, his song is in it. Wow. It's called The World Is Mine, and to me, every time I listen to that song, it makes me feel like I'm a spy.
Oh, that's cool.
So I would say, if you haven't listened to it, definitely recommend. But yeah, those would be my 3 songs.
Nice, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, check out The World Is Mine. And I know the Indiana Jones one. That's cool. I love it. Music tells a million stories, words, 100%. The feelings it evokes, the memories, the places, brings us back to. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome. We're going to go on to the last segment, second last segment, before we go to the takeaway. And the second last segment is, of course, our MC of the month. Our MC of the month today is a UK organisation called Diaspora Dialogues UK. They're an organisation dedicated to fostering conversations, events and creative projects that celebrate diaspora heritage, build cross-cultural understanding and empower young people to tell their stories. Their work clearly links with the incredible stuff that you're doing with Sounds and Diaspora, and for anyone who is watching or listening who's interested in a sense of belonging, community, building and identity, check them out. But obviously, of course, your first stop should be Sounds of Diaspora. But yeah, that's it from me. Before we go into the outro, this is your opportunity to share your takeaway message. So as our audience know, this is a message that you share with us to go home with and to reflect on for whether this is the end or start of your day. This is your message to think about.
Yeah, I really loved and enjoyed this conversation. I think, I think you really left me with this sense of, I guess just embracing the uncertainty, the unknown. There's all these pressures in life and all these different things we feel like we need to do, we want to do, and all of these paths that feel like the right one or the wrong one. Often other people tell us these things, but I think your songs spoke to this, your experiences, and my own experiences of this redirection, embracing it. I am a control freak by nature, but I'm learning to relinquish control and have a faith in not just this wider spiritual, I guess, power, but also my community. I think my main takeaway from this conversation, from seeing you, listening to you, and hearing your passion for what you do is my own. If you are passionate, if you are true to what you love, and if you care, if that's, rooted with deep, all these kind of values of respect and everything, I really do believe things will play out in your favor and work out how they're going to be. So if anyone's feeling lost, feeling stressed, whether it's in the creative pursuit, entrepreneurial, life, personal, just have faith in things that ground you, those core beliefs, and I really do believe whether it takes years, months, or weeks, you will always get back to your spot. And failure, redirection is necessary for weakness. So yeah, keep it going. Don't let downturns feel like that's everything, because we have a lot of time, we have a lot of joy to experience, and yeah, I just believe in this equilibrium. If you have a purpose, then if you have, I say clean hearts win. If you've got a clean heart, clean in the sense of good intention, then life will work out for you. So, and even the people that you probably look up to or think have it all figured out or are thriving in whatever sense, they all stumble. They all get set off, but they always find their way back. They always find their way home. So I hope you find your way home. In whatever you're navigating, and don't give up.
Definitely. That's the end of the episode. So thank you very much to me for coming on. This is an opportunity. I know you have an event on the 28th.
They ain't gonna see that. This will be after that, though.
Yes, we will include nice clips and footage in this segment to showcase how incredible that event was. But longer term, I would say plug anything, everything. How can people connect with you? If you've got events, I would say, I'm not sure when this will come out, but I would say think all the way up until the end of the year, and then after into the new year.
Just tap in with Sounds of the Diaspora. So we do so many things online, in person, podcast, events, parties, workshops, but the best way to find us is probably Instagram. You can find us with Sounds of the Diaspora with 2 A's until we fight the person who has the original one and get that A back or get rid of that. So Sounds Diaspora on Instagram. You find us on LinkedIn, Sounds of the Diaspora. We have a website, soundsofthediaspora.co.uk. And yeah, we will have events running throughout the year. So by the time you see this, we probably be doing more workshop type things. But wherever you are, this is also the US, we'll be still doing things in the East Coast and hopefully beyond. Or if you're interested in getting involved, whether you're a storyteller, a musician, an artist, and it feels like any things I've spoken about resonate with you, you can catch me at m_tums, TUMZZ on Instagram. I'm always here to meet, speak to, and kind of, thought partner with like-minded people, whether that's community organizing, advocacy too. So yeah, stay tuned, just see what we do, shout us, tell us what you thought, what you think. Maybe you want to come on the podcast. You can catch our podcast episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, any streaming platform basically that you can listen to a podcast on is probably there, except YouTube, which gotta fix that one. What else? Thinking Black. Always gotta shout out Thinking Black. If you know young people aged 14 to 18, and probably by the time you see this, we would have expanded our reach. Schools, teachers interested in teacher training, anti-racist education, decolonial education, young people who want to get involved, please reach out to us. Find our details on our website. If you want to see me DJ Tums, I don't know, man, follow me on Instagram and see if you can catch me. I'd be doing it here and there, so. But yeah, keep tuning in to Pick Up the Mic. There's a lot of wealth of knowledge here. I don't think I have anything else to plug. By the time you would have seen this, we would have just wrapped up our homecoming, so we're officially back in London, whilst being in Boston and maybe in Singapore as well. But yeah, just come say hey, come just check out what we do, and if you like it, then stick around.
Perfect. I appreciate the plug for the cut of the mic.
Go on.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, that's what you're here for.
Thank you very much. And thank you to you, our wonderful audience, for coming back. If you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe, always appreciated. If you want to support our efforts, then please do check out the Patreon, buy me a coffee, and the YouTube channel membership down below. You get discounts on our merch, but you can also help us to, continually grow and continue to do amazing work to support you guys and put on my wild ideas of doing one event every month.
Crazy.
Next year, which is wild. I'm
good luck.
mentally, thank you so much.
It's gonna go great.
It's gonna go great.
Stressful.
It's gonna be a lot. There's some that I already know I have, like they're already, they always happen every year, so there's some that I know.
Keep an eye out for collabs.
Yes. To be fair, that is something I have an idea. So by the time this video is out, it may have happened.
That might be the thing. Sounds Diaspora times pick up the mic. Keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Because we got a lot of plans.
Stuff cooking.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's been this is the first of 2 podcasts, and my brain is already tired.
Yeah.
But my outro stuff. If you want to see, as I mentioned, we've got merch. Check it out. The link down below. By this point, Fund and Flourish may have started its first cohort, so keep an eye out for that stuff. We've got incredible stuff coming from our community. Finally, if you want to see our other channels, Senteis of Anime, the Two Maesters, Pick Up the Controller, head to our main YouTube channels, scroll down, you'll see under the For You section, it's got all 3 channels there. Subscribe to them, click the notification bell, and then you can have more of our content coming your way every week or so. And yeah, we're closing the chapter here of the student guide. We're working on something cool because potentially by next year, the way things are going, because we might finish recording season 8 before 2025 ends, which means 2026 might start with season 9, which, based on the way things have been going, we could end season 10, which would be 100 episodes of this podcast, which is honestly, it is wild to think. But I have ideas already. I have a strong idea of what we'll do for the 100th episode, so keep an eye out on the space. But yeah, that's bye from us here. Enjoy your day. Speak to you soon, and yeah, take care.
Bye.